Hello everyone and welcome back to Pokémon FireRed. Probably another optional episode where I will be doing some more backtracking to basically show you the other path you can take to Fuchsia City. So I guess there really isn't much to say. I guess it's nice of you to stick around if you have. I'll probably do another overview at the beginning of next episode, so if you feel like skipping this one, Jeremy, just feel free to do so. The point of this is just to pick up any items that are still around, and I know there's some which are kind of nice. And also I'm something of a completionist, so I don't want to leave things undone, which I don't know. If I skip this, I would feel like I've left something undone or unshown, so yeah. I didn't really know where I was going with that sentence, so I guess just ignore it. This is mostly the completionist in me wanting to actually do most of the things in the game. I'm unlikely to do everything, because everything would include trading a lot to try and get the Pokédex as complete as possible, possibly eventually cheating to get the rather large amount of Pokémon which you cannot get any other way. In the third generation they removed any backwards compatibility, so I believe you cannot trade Pokemon or items or anything like that over from 2nd gen to 3rd gen. And that's because there was the item duplication thing, which was really quite easy and safe in Pokemon Red and Blue. And also the trick which you could use to catch pretty much any Pokemon, which was always used to catch a Mew. But it could technically get you any other Pokemon as well. Or at least most of them. Mechanics aren't quite known to me, so let's just say you could get a lot of Pokemon that way. Anyway, I had a kind of point. Yeah, they made it so you can't trade between 2nd and 3rd gen, so all the duplicated stuff basically stays in 1st and 2nd gen, and there's no way to trade upwards, I guess. And that means there's no, even without straight cheating, there's no way to get a lot of the Pokemon from earlier generations in this generation. I mean, obviously with the remakes of Red and Blue, Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can get the starter Pokemon from those generations. But I'm not even sure if you can get the 2nd gen starters in the 3rd gen games. I mean, I suspect you can, but it's going to be somewhat convoluted. And I always found it annoying that they made all these event-only Pokemon, which sort of had to go to special Nintendo events to get them. And I don't know, I always found that to be real tedium that they decided to make that the case. I can see that you should have, like, most of the editions, they come in twos, as you know. There's black and white, blue and red, and silver and gold, and diamond and pearl, and all those. So I see the point of wanting you to have both of those to be able to complete the Pokédex. But I find all this all these super powerful Pokemon, which you can only get if you went to a certain special convention and all that, It's somewhat annoying. I guess the reason they do it is that they want there to be a motivation to go to these events. But I would just have preferred if they, instead of giving out Pokemon that you cannot get another way, they could give out really, really good Pokemon. So, for example, they could give out a special... is it here? Or is it one further down? I know somewhere here there's a hidden item, but... apparently not here. Oh, it's over there. So yeah, instead of trying to go with a unique Pokemon that you can't get any other way, just give us a really cool thing that you can get another way, but not as nice. So they have these, I think EV is what the community refers to them. They're kind of a value that's decided when you get the Pokemon, and that describes how much its stats are gonna grow. So instead of just giving us, I don't know, a legendary Psycho Plant thing that is only obtainable via this event, why not just give us a shiny starter of our choice that has maxed... I keep being out even though I want to actually change. But yeah, just give us a starter that has maxed out EVs, which would be 31 in every stat, which is hypothetically obtainable in the game, but not realistically. So it's technically possible for an Pokemon to have those, but it's incredibly unlikely. It's like 1 in a billion or something. But possibly. And I don't know, I guess the allure of getting a shiny starter that actually has incredibly good stats, that would still be interesting to some people. And there's the PP up. It's not so valuable to me because of my leveling trick, but if you don't use that, these items are very expensive. You usually pay $10,000 for each one. And there's a fairly limited amount of them to be found throughout the game. So, let's use Twister. So I don't know. I would think that's still quite a temptation to make you want to go to these events. I don't know though. Maybe it's just me, but I always really liked shinies. I think it's somewhat less of a thing now that shinies have become a lot more easy to get. Because in later generation, I think starting in generation 4 or maybe 5, they have introduced all sorts of methods which make farming shinies easier, to where you can improve the odds quite a bit, and actually you can directly go out and say, I don't know, this patch of grass can contain a Pidgey. And I want a shiny Pidgey, and you could then use a method that I don't quite know how it works, but something with swarm animals, swarm Pokemon and all that. Anyway, you can use it to okay, send out your Clefairy. You can use it to directly go and farm that shiny Pidgey if you want it. And instead of having a 1 in, 8,000 chance, you can probably... I think you're almost guaranteed to get one within an hour or two. So, obviously made it a lot easier. And that would somehow make it less interesting, but obviously those methods only work on certain Pokemon. So, what I would say, for example, is make it possible to get the legendary Pokemon in the game somehow, but make it so it's never shiny. which would be easy enough to do. There are some Pokemon which you can never get as shinies. And if you want the shiny version, you have to get it from going to this Pokemon Nintendo event thing where they hand it out, and it has really good stats as well. I would be okay with that. I really dislike the whole, if you haven't been to this Nintendo event in America in 2012, then I'm sorry, you're never going to get this Pokemon. I don't know, just a minor thing really, but it really bugs me that all the advertising and such of Pokemon, it's always been got to catch them all. So the whole point, to some extent at least, was always to catch all the Pokemon, to have them all. Which they have made impossible. Or rather, in order to do it, you would now probably have to spend a lot of real money to fly out to all these events in order to actually be able to... Okay, so this is a dead end. So yeah, that's what you'd have to do in order to get all of the Pokemon, which... And very often, when a new generation comes out, these 3 or 4 event Pokemon aren't obtainable yet, because the events where you get them haven't happened yet. So, I don't know. I just find that a real tedium, and I wish they would change that, but they're not going to, because obviously it's a good source of money, tempting people with a Pokemon they can only get this way, or otherwise you cheat. But to me it takes away from the notion that you're supposed to catch them all. Because you really can't, it's not possible. So if you're playing this on any device where you are able to cheat, and I know there are cheat devices which allow you to cheat on the original cartridges as well, I would say just go for it. Just go for it. There's no shame in it. If they don't want you to get these Pokemon legitimately, then your choices are not getting them or getting them illegitimately, and really I'd say that's legitimate, if you pardon the pun. Running out of PP slowly here, but still going strong, I guess, to some extent. And plus I still have all those PP ups, which I can use if I really have to. There are some attacks where using the PP up is kind of pointless, because they already have a lot of them. For example, Confusion already has 25. You could get that up to 40 if you use the 3 PP ups, which is the maximum, but 25 is already quite a bit. Should usually be enough. But you can basically, in the end, increase every move's PP by 60%. Okay, send out your Pidgey, and I'll send out my Alakazam. Or Alakazam. And again, it's quite nice that they added the pickup ability and gave it the chance to get your PP ups from that, because it makes it much more feasible to get a lot of them to max out the your moves on most of your Pokemon. Hello. Okay, I have 8 PP left for every single move, that's cool. But this should get me the level up anyway. So I think Gengar should be able to damage that one. With Gengar you always have to watch out for Pokemon that are type normal. Luckily when facing the Elite Four, you don't have that problem very much, because most Pokemon... I actually can't think of a counterexample, but at least most Pokemon you meet there will have type normal, won't have type normal, sorry. So it's not an issue. Whereas when fighting just random trainer or random wild Pokemon, there's always your Pidgeys and your Dodos and your Rattatas and your Raticats, which are very common in a Pokemon. Or at least Pidgey and Rattata and its evolutions are. And they shall not be... they have type normal, at least partially. So that's annoying. It's a shame that this guy has a Magikarp. It's such a useless Pokemon. Which means I'll change to Pidgeot because it just has so many PPs on its moves that I don't have to worry about it. As you can see, 35 on Wing Attack, 30 on Quick Attack, and 15 on Fly. I just have 2 very high PP attacks. And Magikarp is not worth using strong moves against. Because it's so ridiculously weak. Oh yeah, up here. That's one of the items that I definitely wanted. I think that's an iron, maybe? It's a permanent stat increase, basically. Now the way these permanent stat increases work is... I've spoken before of the effort values which Pokemon have, which they accumulate from fighting certain enemies. And every 4 points in a certain effort value translates to 1 additional stat point. And the way these vitamin things that increase your stats permanently work is they just give you the necessary amount of effort values, basically. But because effort values are capped, you cannot have more than 252 effort points for every single stat, and you cannot have more than 256 effort value points in total. You could have a Pokemon just because you've trained it so much or so well that can no longer be affected by these vitamins, basically. Okay, so he's got electric Pokemon. He is Rockaluka. Because apparently rockers have some kind of electric whip usually. I don't know what that's supposed to be actually. It's kind of a cable that's connected to nothing. Shadow Ball. Gengar on the other hand does not have that many PP on his moves, so that's a bit unfortunate. I mean, he has very strong moves, but just not very many. Let's go for Charizard, why not? I technically have a type disadvantage because Charizard is part flying, but as you can see, that didn't matter. And this is the house where we get another one of the fishing rods, I believe. I'm the fishing guru's younger brother. I simply love fishing, I can't bear without. And I do like fishing as well. And we get the super rod here. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure if the rods are sort of set locations, or if the first one you get will always be the old rod and the second one will always be the good rod and all that. So here we have the second Snorlax of the game. I'm just going to save quickly. And obviously this is now pretty much the end of the backtracking section. I'm going to try and catch it, but I am now fairly powerful. I'm not sure if it'll work out, but it does have a lot of hit points, so I might be able to get it anyway. And I still have my my Gengar in front, which is obviously immune against Snorlax's attacks. Snorlax can't really do much against Gengar, except put it to sleep, but that really doesn't matter much. Okay, now I'm asleep. But I obviously don't have to accept that. I think one of those should be able to wake up. Yeah, the Chesto Berry, which is also quite common. I have over 100 of those. So let's fight Hypnosis. Wow, I missed 3 times in a row. That sucks. Let's go to the bag and use another Chesto Berry. I do not have to save these for anything. Oh, it didn't affect me. Nope. Okay, finally it worked. I'm hoping that the Dream Eater won't kill it. I don't know if Dream Eater is a same type attack bonus attack. Oh, he's got a Chesto Berry as well. That's cool. But even if it is, Gengar is not type Psychic, so it does not actually get the bonus. Okay, let's see what Dream Eater does. Now, I've caught the first Snorlax, so if I don't catch this one, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to reset for it or anything like that. But it might just survive, yeah. Okay, let's actually try an Ultra Ball. I don't think it's gonna work first try, but you never know. Ah, almost. Okay, try to use Snore again. I'll try Hypno. Yes, it worked. Nice. Okay, so it being asleep makes it easier to catch. There we go. Snorlax was caught. I did not mean to want to give it a nickname, so. And now we stand on the location where it was, and once again we use the item finder. And we get the second leftovers. I'll probably use these on some Pokemon towards the later game. But that's the backtracking I wanted to do here. We can now fly. So we've beaten the gym in Vermilion and in Cerulean. We've beaten the gym in Celadon. There's no gym in Lavender. We still have Saffron City, which is the central city we haven't gotten to yet. And there's the gym in Fuchsia City, which we have to do. So that's actually where I'll go next. But since I've declared this episode to be optional, obviously not going to do it this particular at this particular point. I'm just going to save now, and next episode's going to start with some just, I guess, talking to people, finding out who lives here and such, and then I'll go about and probably do the Safari Zone first, and then move on to the gym. Maybe next episode, maybe the one afterwards. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.